Sarah. Thank you for today's class. Today we are making a watermelon drip cake. Here it is. So we will be learning how to stack layers of cake and to get a nice smooth layer of buttercream, how to use the Satin drip cake, and how to make a watermelon topper out of modeling chocolate. This is a really cute cake for summer. Summer's just around the corner, so this will be great. We will begin by going over some of the supplies that we will be using. I have a KitchenAid mixer. Really, we're using this today just to make sure that we can put the pink food color gel into the buttercream very smoothly rather than hand mixing. It's a lot easier to use a mixer. If you have a hand mixer, that works great too. I have a cake turntable. I think this is essential when decorating a cake smoothly because it really helps you just glide through and smooth out the cake really nice by moving it around. I have a cake board and I have it secured to the turntable with a piece of tape. Underneath here, I have a silicone mat, and this is for when we're working with the modeling chocolate. I have some gloves. Really, I'm using this to just help my hands from not getting messy, and they also come in handy when working with the modeling chocolate, and I'll talk about that once we start using that. I have a rolling pin. I have green cake drip. I have Satin edible glue, pink food color gel, the black buttercream, which I already have in a piping bag. So I'll place that to the side now because I just showed you that the black is in a piping bag. And the white 3-pound buttercream. This is what we're going to place in the mixer, whip it up with some pink food color gel, and then we can get started decorating the cake. I have 3 different colors of the new 4-ounce modeling chocolates. We have the black, the green, and the pink. This is how we're going to make our watermelon topper. If you haven't used modeling chocolate yet, this is a great way to start because these small packs are perfect. They're 4 ounces, so you can create fun little toppers with them or, get introduced to the product. I have a lollipop stick that I cut in half for the skewers to put the watermelons into the cake. You can use toothpicks if you have those. A pair of scissors. I have an offset spatula, a paintbrush so that we can apply the edible glue to the modeling chocolate, a spatula for the buttercream. I have a round 4-inch, I think it's about 4 inches, a round cutter so that we can take the shape of the watermelon. I call this a bench scraper. You might call it an icing smoother. And then I also have 3 layers of cake that are around 7 or 8 inches. And I think I covered everything, so we can get started. So the first thing that we're going to do today is transfer our white buttercream into our mixer or our bowl, and we're going to start coloring it so it's a bright pink color. I also want to mention I do have Joyce with me in the room. She's going to let me know if you guys have any questions or concerns as we go through on any of these products that we're working with today. So to start, the ready-to-use buttercream is amazing because it's ready to go. You don't have to do any mixing other than if you're adding extra flavoring or if you're changing the color or anything like that, which we are doing today. It's vegetarian and nut-free, which is great. And I like it because it has a great texture where you can smooth it on a cake, but it also holds its shape so you can make piped decorations as well. So I'm just going to take the food safety seal off and I'm just going to start transferring it into the mixing bowl. It depending on where you're located, if you're in a hot climate or a cold climate, you might see that the buttercream might be firmer or it might be soft, depending on how hot of an environment you're in. If it is too firm, you can always add a little bit of water when you're mixing it, or you can even pop it in the microwave for 10 seconds. Sometimes I've done that if it's really cold here. But right now it looks perfect, and look how bright white it is. It takes color so well. Okay, so I'm going to transfer this whole thing into my mixer. So if we weren't doing this, what I do like to say is to give it a good stir before using it, just to make it extra smooth. If it's too hard for you to stir, again, you can always use a mixer. It's nice because it will kind of fluff it up even extra. So I'm just transferring this to the bowl. I'm going to move my mixer over too so you guys can see it because we'll move to the overhead camera. I'm going to put my gloves on. Okay. All right, so you can see our buttercream is in the mixer. I'm going to start mixing it, and I'm going to start adding our pink food color gel. This is a great product as well. This comes in a wide range of colors. You can mix different colors to create unique hues if you need to. Today we're using just straight up pink. We're going to get a nice, really bright pink color to cover the cake. So I'm just going to start adding drops and go from there and see how much I have to add. So first I'm going to start the mixer. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to scrape the sides, make sure I'm incorporating the color in all to the buttercream, because towards the bottom, you'll see that the buttercream is still white. And another thing is when you're working with buttercream, the color and you're coloring it, the color will deepen a little over time. And especially as if the buttercream cake is exposed to air, that will cause the color to deepen as well. So I'm just scraping the sides of the bowl, I'm scraping the spatula. But you can see how great the texture is of the buttercream too. Like it's thick enough to hold its shape. It's not too soft. Okay, so we're going to continue mixing to make sure the color is incorporated fully. And I think I'm going to add more food color gel because I want it to be more concentrated. Again, I just want to make sure that any extra food color gel on the sides of the bowl is getting mixed in. Okay, and now I'm just going to continue mixing. Okay. So this pink is not quite as deep as my original cake. That cake has been sitting out too for a long time. So the color has deepened a lot, but you can always go darker if you want. I think this is a really pretty pink. So now what I'm going to do is, again, we're going to scrape the sides, get all the buttercream off of the paddle attachment. And then we're just going to give it a quick stir and get out any air bubbles. So you just want to make sure you're getting all the buttercream off of your attachment, whether that's your beaters or the paddle. Okay. Okay. So at this point, again, I'm just going to scrape the sides, really make sure everything's incorporated, bring up the buttercream from the bottom. And then at this point, what I like to do, after whipping buttercream, you might start to see some air pockets. I'm not sure if you guys can see it on the screen, but I do see some air pockets. And to do that, you can kind of slap the buttercream back and forth with your spatula, and that reduces the air bubbles, which just helps you from not having air pockets when you're smoothing your cake. Again, you can make whatever shade of pink that you like. You can go deeper, you can go lighter. Okay, so our buttercream is ready. So now we can start assembling our cake. It's here. I'm working with vanilla cake layers. You can use whichever flavor cake layers you like. And what I did was I went to my local grocery store. I asked for just plain cake layers, and you can purchase them that way sometimes. So definitely check with your local grocery store if you don't feel like baking. You just want to decorate. Okay, so I'm going to first add a little smear of buttercream in the center of my cake board. This is going to help that first layer of cake adhere to the board. I do flatten it out a little bit just so that the cake is flush to the board. And place the first layer down. I'm working with frozen cake layers. And the reason for that is because I feel that I have the cake is less flimsy that way. I can have more control over it. And I think that when I'm decorating it, there's less crumbs falling from the cake as well. Someone said, what kind of tape do you use? Oh, so I'm just using regular Scotch tape. It's underneath the board, so it doesn't have to be any special kind of tape. It's just underneath the board, securing it to the turntable. They do sell even those grip mats that you can put on top of a turntable. That could work too, but tape always works if you don't have that. But I am working with the frozen cake layers. Double-sided. No, it's not double-sided. I just made it double-sided, like I did a loop, but you could use double-sided too. But I just took a piece of tape and I looped it, stuck it to the bottom, and then adhered it to the turntable or the cake board and the turntable. So now we're just going to dollop some buttercream on the layer. I like to be a little bit conservative when adding my buttercream in between my cake layers, just because I always want to make sure that I have enough buttercream to finish decorating my cake. There's nothing worse than decorating cupcakes or a cake and having like one or two more cupcakes to decorate or one little area to cover and you don't have enough buttercream left. So I would like to make sure it's a good enough ratio so that it's enough frosting in between the layers that matches to the cake. But I always just, like to put that tip out there just to make sure that you don't use too much. So right now I'm just using my offset spatula and I'm smoothing it out. And then here's where the turntable comes into play, because I'm going to just leave my offset spatula on top of the icing. And I'm going to start turning the turntable with my other hand. And then that's just what does the work. And it makes it to be a nice smooth surface to place our next cake layer on. And you'll see the sides, some of it's overflowing, and that's okay. Whatever is excess on the outside, whichever is like pushing out, we'll use to start doing a crumb coat on our cake. So I'm going to add the next layer. Normally with my cake layers, I will level off the top. These are pretty flat, so I didn't have to do that this time. And to do that, I use one of those cake leveling tools that you just kind of saw through, and you just take a small layer off the top. So again, we're just adding some buttercream, and then we're going to just spread it a little bit, and then we will smooth it. So now at this point, once the buttercream is spread evenly, I'm going to take my spatula, leave it in one place, and just let the turntable do the work. This takes a little practice to get used to, so it might feel a little awkward at first if you're not used to using the turntable. Okay, so now I'm going to put my last layer on. And when I'm putting my last layer on, I always flip it so that the bottom, because the bottom layer is nice and sharp, has those sharp edges and it's nice and flat. And as I'm doing this, I'm just pressing down a little bit just to make sure there's no like air pockets and everything's nicely stacked. Okay. At this point, I do see some, because I didn't saw off the top layers of these cakes, they are slightly rounded. So there is a little bit of a gap in between the layers. So I'm just going to go through and just fill that in before we start spreading more buttercream, because this is going to make it easier to crumb coat the cake. So I'm just going around to fill in that gap a little bit more. This is a really pretty pink color. Okay. It doesn't look pretty right now, but it's going to look pretty as we start smoothing the buttercream out. Now we're going to also put a dollop on top of the cake. At this point, this would be considered we're working on our crumb coat. And what the crumb coat does is it locks in all of the crumbs that might fall off the cake, and it might kind of start to blend in with the buttercream. And that's why this traps the crumbs so that when you do your final coating, it's nice and smooth. And so first I'm going to start with the top. So again, first I just spread it around to get a nice smooth layer. You do want your crumb coat to be as smooth as possible too, because then you're still working with the same base of cake. You want the layers to be as smooth as possible. So again, I'm going to take my spatula. I'm going to let the turntable do the work, start spinning. I have the spatula on a slight angle. And what this does is it's smoothing the cake, but it's also lifting any extra buttercream off as well. And at this point, the layer of buttercream will be on the thinner side, because we're just doing this to lock in the crumbs. We're not necessarily doing this to fully have a fully decorated cake. So you'll start to see some of the cake come through. Okay, so now we're going to attack the sides. And like I said before, you'll have some buttercream that is overlapping on the sides. And that's good because that's going to help you just kind of spread the buttercream out to make a crumb coat. And always make sure your cake layers are even. Sometimes they might slide a little bit as you're decorating, so just always check up on that. So I'm just going along the sides and I'm spreading the buttercream out carefully because the cake does get a little delicate because of the crumbs. It's okay at this point if there is crumbs in your buttercream as you're working. That's the point. You want to lock those in. You just want to make sure the cake is fully coated and that you don't have any exposed cake. All of the icing is locking in the crumbs. And any extra buttercream that you're scraping off at this point, if there happens to be crumbs in it, I recommend using a separate bowl of some kind and scraping that off into something different because you don't want to put any crumb buttercream in with your clean buttercream. So again, this is our crumb coat layer. We are just making sure there's a thin layer of buttercream that's going to lock in the crumbs. If there's no crumbs on your buttercream as you're scraping, you can put it back in with the other. But if there is crumbs, you want to put that in a separate bowl. I want to add, the reason why I decorate the top first is because that's going to get a nice flat surface. And then as we decorate the sides, that causes the buttercream to kind of raise and you get this edge. And that's when we're going to be able to scrape toward the center and to create that nice, clean, sharp edge. And we'll use that same technique when we're doing our final coating of buttercream. So I'm just going to go around the edges one more time, get any extra buttercream off. At this point, once you have your crumb coat layer, you would want to put it in the fridge so that this firms up and it's easy for you to decorate. Since I'm working with frozen layers, I find that I don't necessarily need to do that because the buttercream's kind of solidifying as I'm doing the crumb coat. So any of the buttercream that raises up the sides, you're just going to push that to the center of the top and that's going to get rid of it and kind of create a nice smooth top. I feel like my cake looks a little crooked, so I'm going to just, okay. Fix that. Okay, let me just fix this and then we can begin the final layer of frosting. This buttercream color looks like it would be strawberry, doesn't it? Okay. We can move to this to see the full side view and we'll begin doing the final coating of buttercream. Like I said, at this stage, I would normally place this in the refrigerator, but for the sake of the time of the class, I'm gonna just start with the final coating of buttercream. Okay, so now I'm going to begin at the top of the cake. And the reasoning for that is because I like to have the top of my cake be as smooth as possible before working on the sides, because of the fact when we start smoothing the sides, that buttercream gets pushed up and then we can scrape the extra buttercream off toward the middle and that helps us create those sharp edges. So I'm just smoothing this out on the top. Any extra buttercream that's
Says the cake looks like it's coming off. And it just might be the way that they're looking.
no, it could just be the angle.
Yeah,
I hope.
it's not, I can see.
Okay. So I'm just scraping the top of the cake to make sure that this is really smooth. And of course, the turntable is doing all the work. I had the offset spatula on an angle, and that's helping me create a nice smooth top. Now the buttercream is starting to overflow on the sides, and that's great. We're gonna just use that to start coating the cake. So I'm just gonna fully start coating the cake, and then we'll worry about smoothing it. So just start applying buttercream to the sides. Try to be as even as possible. That's going to help when we start to smooth it out. So I've been working from the top to the bottom. Don't worry about any extra buttercream that's getting onto your cake board. You can scrape that off as well. I like to use the cake boards that have that coating on top so that any of the oil that's in like the buttercream from the butter or your cake doesn't seep into the cake board. Okay, so we're just spreading the buttercream all around the sides. Trying to be as even as possible, making sure there's no cake exposed. Again, when we start smoothing the cake, the buttercream, we are naturally going to scrape some off. So it's okay if you're putting a lot on the sides. Okay. What you guys are seeing, it could be that my cake is not center on the cake board too. Okay, at this point, I'm going to use my bench scraper. I like to use like a stainless steel or metal one because what I typically like to do is run this under hot water and then wipe it dry, and it will warm this up, and it makes the buttercream get smooth really fast. So I'm just gonna hold the bench scraper along the side of the cake. I'm not going to dig this into the cake. I'm just gonna kind of hover it over the buttercream, and the turntable spinning it is going to help do the work. We don't want to be rough and completely scrape the buttercream off. Again, it's kind of just hovering, and it's naturally going to scrape off any of the extra buttercream, but it's going to smooth the sides at the same time. So you can go slow, you don't have to go fast. Any of these videos that you see and it looks like they're going very fast, those videos are sped up. People take their time at this stage. So you'll start to see that the buttercream is going to naturally start pushing up to those edges, and you're going to get those rough edges, but we will use our offset spatula to clean that up. And after each pass through, you'll want to make sure that your bench scraper or your icing smoother is as clean as possible so that doesn't mess up any progress that you've made.
How do you avoid the ridges that the cardboard cake boards have when pressing the bench scraper around the cake?
I know
It takes
exactly
some
what
time
you're-
to get straight.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Someone said, how do you avoid the ridges on the cardboard cake board? Sometimes there's an uneven surface and there's naturally ridges in the cardboard of the cake board. I think some brands are worse than others. When I do have one like that, I try to kind of hover the bench scraper a little bit above the cake board. It might be a little hard, especially if you're a beginner with smoothing the cakes, but I do think that helps make a difference, because if not, it's bumpy and it's creating ridges while you're trying to smooth the sides of the cake. I know exactly what you're talking about because I've experienced that before too. But again, I would try to kind of hover it over slightly, just a little bit, so that it's not touching or scraping the bottom of the board. Okay, so at this point, you can see,
They're peeling sometimes.
at this point, you'll see that this buttercream has rose around the edge. So now I'm just going to take my clean offset spatula and we're going to begin pulling in those edges to make it nice and smooth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just hover over that extra buttercream, carefully start to push that to the center. It might be helpful to go to the overhead camera for this part so that you guys can see. Okay, so all these edges, we're just going to hover over and lightly pull through. Always clean off the extra buttercream off your spatula before going to the next. Lightly hovering over it, pulling it through the center. There you go. And that's how you get a nice smooth cake with sharp edges. If you need to, you can always smooth out the top of the cake again. Okay, so at this point, we are going to start the cake drip. So the cake drip you want to heat in the microwave in 30 to 60-second intervals. So to do that, you're going to want to remove the food safety seal, take off the top, and then just start heating it. I would do 30 seconds. Joyce is going to put mine in the microwave for me, and give it a really good shake in between. Also at this point, I would normally probably put the cake in the fridge because we are heating up cake drip and we're going to be dripping it. But again, I'm working with cake layers that were frozen. And for sake of time, I'm just going to start with the drip cake. And then after we drip the cake, we will begin making our topper. If you want to clean up your cake board, oh, yes. So if you want to clean up your cake board, you could do this very carefully. You can either use your offset spatula or you can use a paper towel and use your finger to do this, but sometimes I use the spatula. I just carefully go along and just scrape the cake board just to lift up any extra buttercream that's on the cake board. And if there's any extra residue, you can take your paper towel, you can even make it a little damp and just carefully go through, making sure you don't poke the side of your cake.
How do you fix this part if you take off too much frosting on the side? You just add more buttercream.
If someone asked, how do you fix it if you take off too much buttercream when you're scraping it? Just add more buttercream. If there's areas where there's holes, you just add more buttercream, patch it up, and then just begin scraping again. Okay, so at this point, we're going to start our drip. Joyce heated it for me in 30-second intervals. I think we had to do it maybe like 2 times. Give it a really, really good shake. And then we can start doing our drips. Also, I want to mention about the cake drip. if you were to use this and say you took a break from using it and you want to go back to using it and the chocolate has solidified a little bit, take the cap off, put it back in the microwave it again. The nozzle, if you were to pour, if you were already pouring the cake drip out, the chocolate inside the nozzle could solidify. If that happens, you're not going to be able to pour it through this nozzle. So you could just take this and run it under hot water, and that will fix the problem if you ever run into that issue. So when dripping the cake, I like to start along the sides and then I like to fill the top. Some people like to do the top first and then drip the sides. Some people like to just do it really to make the drips like really thick and all around. You could do it however you like. Typically, again, I like to work from the sides and then fill in the top. And then for longer drips, you would squeeze longer. For shorter drips, you would squeeze for a shorter amount of time. So I'm just going to begin by squeezing. I'll now see my chocolate. I might have, I did heat this a little bit earlier and shake it. So I think my chocolate solidified a little bit. I'm right here in the room. I'm just going to get a different cap so that I could do this. I don't have access to hot water right now. So if this ever does happen to you, and the reason this happened was because I heated this up earlier a little bit and I shook it. So now the chocolate solidified in the cap, just like I was talking about. Typically, I would go to the sink and run under hot water. I don't have one right next to me right now. So I'm just putting on a different cap. Okay, so we're going to begin dripping. Again, for short drips, squeeze longer, or for short drips, squeeze for a shorter amount of time. For longer drips, squeeze longer. You can do some that are shorter, some that are longer, and you'll get this look. This cake drip is amazing because typically I feel like if you were to do this, you'd have to use candy melts, you'd have to thin those down. This melts to the perfect consistency to get a nice, clean, thin drip, which I love. And this does set pretty fast too. So at this point, when you're doing the top, you want to move a little bit on the quicker side, just because you want to be able to smooth it before it starts to solidify, especially if you were working with colder cake layers. Right now, I'm just covering the top, not doing anything special because I'm going to use my offset spatula to spread it out. Okay, so that looks a little crazy right now. Now we're going to use our offset spatula and we're just going to gently start to smooth this out, carefully not to push it over the edge of the cake.
Make sure the drip doesn't bulge when creating the drips on the side. And how thin should the top be?
Someone asked how to not make the cake drip bulge. I'm assuming maybe you have to heat it longer to get it to a thinner consistency. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I don't know if you're thinking if it's too thick.
Yeah, sometimes she just says she does it too, might be too thick.
Yeah, you might have to microwave it just a little bit longer to get it to a thinner consistency. It's a lot easier to use when it's at its thinner consistency. And for the top, I'm not doing a super thick coating, just enough to cover it so that you don't see the pink underneath. And you can just try to make it as smooth as you can before it starts to set. And at this point, while it's still a little wet, you can even add sprinkles or anything else to the top. But now we're going to put the cake to the side and we are going to make our watermelon topper. Actually, I changed my mind. We're going to do the seeds on the side of the cake. So for the seeds on the side of the cake, I have black buttercream and I have it in a piping bag. And all I did was I just cut the tip of the piping bag off. So it's a small opening. I'm not using a piping tip. And to do this, I'm making teardrop shapes to create the seeds. So I'm just squeezing a little bit, making a dollop, and then slowly bringing it down so it creates like a teardrop shape. And we're just going to randomly do this along the cake. So we're just squeezing a dollop and then kind of carrying it down a little bit to create a teardrop shape or a seed shape.
Let's see what you were thinking.
I'm sorry, I
don't
can't
know if
get
you can
too,
get in
I
closer.
can't get too much closer, but again, I'm squeezing a dollop and then I'm just dragging it down a little bit. You can even just do dollops if you want. It's going to give the same effect of a seed. But to get that seed shape, I'm creating a dollop and then just dragging it down a little bit, just to create a point.
Seems like how was there space between the drip?
How is
It
there
was all
space?
drip if I did it.
So it depends on how far apart you spaced your drips. If you don't have space in between, anywhere where there's space on your cake that's pink, that's where you can add your seeds. It's okay if you don't have space in between your drips. Some people make dripped cakes like that.
Would you recommend a temperature to use the drip?
I don't have a specific temperature
You give each
to
one.
use the drip. We microwaved it at 30-second intervals. When you shake it, you should be able to feel like you can hear that it's liquidy. You can even do a test of putting it on a paper plate when you squeeze it. And if you feel like it's too thick, you can put it back in the microwave again. Okay. So the seeds are added. That was quick enough. And now we're going to make our watermelon topper. Okay, so to do this, I'm going to wear gloves because when working with modeling chocolate, if you have hot hands, sometimes it can get a little tricky. Modeling chocolate is chocolate-based, and naturally in heat or hot environments or the warmth of your hands, chocolate starts to melt. This isn't going to start to melt to a puddle, but the oils will start to come out more and it might get a little bit harder to handle. We're not going to be handling this too much today anyway, because we're rolling it out and just cutting a shape. So it shouldn't be too hard. But these are our new 4-ounce modeling chocolate packs, which are great if you're just getting started with modeling chocolate, because it's a small enough amount of product. And you can create really cute toppers. Like we have little tutorials on the back of the box. So I just have green, red, and black. And I'm sorry, not green, red, and black. It could be red if you want, but I have pink, green, and black. Okay. So in each of these containers, they are covered with a little film of plastic. I'm just going to cut that open. And again, out of this pail, the modeling chocolate is hard as a rock because that's normal. Modeling chocolate is supposed to be hard. You're going to use the warmth of your hands to start to get it to soften up. That's why I like to wear gloves for that too. So I'm just opening each one first. The beauty of modeling chocolate too is it's not as sensitive to air as fondant is, if you've ever worked with fondant. The modeling chocolate, since it's oil-based, it doesn't dry out like fondant does. And it's reworkable over time. That's why a lot of people use it for sculpted pieces. So the first color we want to work with is the pink. So I'm going to take the pink out of the container. You can use a knife to help you do this. Sometimes it might just pop out. And what I'm gonna do, I'm going to just press this in between my hands for a little bit. And it's gonna start to soften it up. Look, it's already starting to smash. I don't want to overwork this. I don't want it to get too soft and the oils to start to separate. Just enough so that it's pliable enough for me to start using. So for this, we are going to roll this modeling chocolate out on the thicker side. We don't want it to be too thin because we want it to be stable enough. I'm rolling it just large enough so that I can cut this 4-inch circle out of it. So I'm just taking my rolling pin. I'm not pushing down when I roll. I'm just like, I'm using light pressure. And I'm just making sure that I'm rolling it evenly all around. Again, we don't want it to be too thin. I'm doing it just enough so that it's a size where I can cut out this circle. And you can work with whatever size circle you have. That will just be the size of your watermelon at the end. So I cut out a circle. At this point, I have extra modeling chocolate. I'm gonna put it back in its little tub. And now with a clean knife, I'm going to cut this in half and it's going to resemble the watermelon slice.
Do you use anything to keep it from sticking like fondant?
So modeling chocolate could stick a little bit, depending on what surface you're working on. If you do happen to have that happen, you can use a little bit of powdered sugar. You can use a little bit of cornstarch, just enough to make your surface not too sticky. It also might feel like it's sticking more if it's really hot. But those two things should definitely help. So what I did was I just cut this in half to give that watermelon shape. Next, I'm going to take out the green because we're going to create that rind. I'm not going to take the whole thing of green out because we don't need that much. So I'm just going to use this knife and I'm going to just cut some out. But modeling chocolate is a lot of fun. It's like clay. Similar to fondant in the sense that you can make different shapes out of it, but it has different properties than fondant because it's not water-based, it's oil-based. So you don't have to work as fast. So now I'm just pressing the green between my hands just to soften it up a bit. And I'm going to roll it into a ball. And now at this point, so you can start to see how it gets a nice sheen, and that's the oils. So I'm going to roll it.
How long can you keep modeling chocolate sculpted? Chocolate that is sculpted to be left out. Does the cake topper need to be put in an airtight container until ready to use?
Someone asked if you can put the modeling chocolate topper in an airtight container before ready to use. I think it's fine at in open air. You do want it to set up a little bit, so I would recommend leaving it in open air. Then you can probably put it in an airtight container. So right now what I'm doing is I'm creating a skinny log because this is going to be the rind on the outside of the watermelon. And I have just the perfect amount. Any extra we can cut off. So now at this point, we want to attach this to the outer edge of the watermelon. And as you're working with it, if I find that when it is a warmer day or the temperature is a little warmer, the modeling chocolate just kind of adheres to itself. If it's not, you can always use the edible glue. That's why I have this here in case. But today, it's a little warmer in this room, so it's sticking to itself nicely. And now I'm just cutting any extra green off. And it's looking like a watermelon. I'm just gonna make sure. It might help to also use your bench scraper to lift the watermelon off the surface, just to make sure it isn't sticking.
What does modeling chocolate taste like?
What does modeling chocolate taste like? Well, modeling chocolate is delicious. It is, all of our colored modeling chocolates taste like white chocolate. The black and the brown are a dark chocolate flavor. So all of the colors in the white are white chocolate, the brown and the black are a dark chocolate flavor, but it's delicious. You can even use this to cover cookies if you want. You can cover a cake with it. You don't have to just make decorations. Modeling chocolate is a really great medium. I wouldn't be afraid of it. I know people make really awesome sculpted cakes with it, but you don't have to be scared of it. Next, we're going to make the seeds, and that's where the black is going to come into play. And these seeds are going to be so tiny, so I'm just taking off a little bit. And because this room is a little bit on the warmer side, typically if it is and the modeling chocolate needs a little time to firm up, you can let this sit, and then once it's on the firmer side, you feel like you can pick it up without it being too flimsy, you can then put it in your cake topper. Hopefully I'll be able to do that. If not, I'll take my other one off of that to show you how to insert it into the cake. Okay, so I'm just kind of kneading this a little bit to make it a little bit softer, not too much. We don't want it to get too soft. And then I'm going to take really small pieces, roll it into a little ball, show you up close first. And then I'm going to just take my pointer finger and kind of slightly roll on one side to make it tapered and to make it look like a cone shape, slightly flatten it to make it look like a seed. And then I'm just going to place that down right onto the pink area of the watermelon. Again, if you're noticing that the modeling chocolate doesn't want to stick to it, that's when you can use a little bit of the edible glue. If you don't have edible glue, you can use the smallest amount of water as well. But again, I'm just taking little balls of the black modeling chocolate, tapering one side so that it looks like a cone shape, flattening it so that it looks like a seed. And I'm just randomly putting this onto the watermelon. It smells really good. It smells like chocolate, of course.
Honestly, I don't know why I haven't tried it. Seems much easier than fondant. Looks better and tastes better.
Yeah, people do love modeling chocolate. Again, you might use modeling chocolate and fondant for different things, but the modeling chocolate is great. You can use it for a lot of different things. And again, you don't have to work as fast because it's not drying out because of the fact that it's oil-based. If I left this here for an hour and I was like, I don't like the way this outer piece looks, I'm gonna take that off and I'm gonna do another one. I would be able to do that with this same piece of green. I'd be able to peel it off, reshape it, and add it on again because it's oil-based.
Can be rolled out like fondant to cover a cake, fully cover a cake.
Yes, you can definitely fully cover a cake. The only thing that it gets a little bit harder is because modeling chocolate doesn't have that elasticity that fondant has. So you might just want to use like a different method of covering. Maybe it's the paneling method, or you just want to be extra careful. You want to make sure you roll out enough so that you don't have to pull it too much, but you should be able to cover a cake with it. At this point, I would lift this up and I would place this on the cake. But what I'm dealing with is this room is a little hot because I have lights on and it's a little too flimsy, I think, for me to put on the cake. But I'm going to show you what I would do. Typically, I would use toothpicks. I have a little lollipop stick that I ripped in half. And hopefully your watermelon is thick enough that you can stick these inside of the watermelon. If they're not, another thing you can do, which I might have to do for this one, is take a little bit of, let's say, the green or the pink, And you might have to kind of sandwich it on the back carefully. I don't want to mess the watermelon up on the other side, but you know what? I'm going to try. My watermelon might not be thick enough. It's working. That's good. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to just stick either your skewer or your toothpick into the bottom carefully, not to go through the watermelon completely. And you can fix it if it gets a little bit misshaped. Again, I want to let this sit more because it's too flimsy right now because the room is hot. Typically, this would set up really quick. You don't want to put this in the fridge either because it's, you don't want condensation to get to it, but you can just let this sit and let it do its thing and it will set up. So for the purpose of the class, I will take my other one out of my other cake. And I'll show you, see, I put the toothpicks in it. And I'll show you how we'll insert it into the cake. So basically, you just want to find the center of the cake. And then you just stick it in. And then it's a cake topper. It's beautiful. So again, as the modeling chocolate sits and it's not as hot from my hands, I have very hot hands. That's why I use gloves to help keep that heat from hitting the modeling chocolate as best as I can. Again, I have all these lights around me, which is radiating some heat. But as that sits, it's going to firm up so I can pick it up just like how I'm doing this and I can stick it into the cake. Does anyone have any other questions? If you are new to using modeling chocolate, definitely check out the 4-ounce packs because you can just experiment with it, make different toppers. There's little tutorials on the back of the box. And you can also go to satinice.com and our Pinterest and our Instagram, and there's tons of inspiration for all of our products. Maybe a light cake
and refrigerated with covers.
I think the best way to keep it in the refrigerator is to store your cake or something in a cardboard box and then put it in the refrigerator. I find that that helps protect the cakes or anything from any extra moisture. So I would do that. And try to make it so that the settings in your fridge isn't highly condensation, like not as much humidity in it. But I find that storing it in a cardboard box helps a lot.
Thank you so much. We really enjoyed.
Thank you all so much for joining today's class.
Is your future session occurring soon?
There is another class, and that's being taught by Liz Shim. She's an amazing artist. She's doing cupcakes that are really cute little daisies with smiley faces. She's using the buttercream and fondant and food color markers, and that's the class in June. So definitely go sign up for that as well. But thank you all so much for joining, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.